everybody, it's Jasmine, and today we are going to be doing a tag video. I think it's been a couple of years since I've done a tag video, and I might be right. I really don't remember the last tag that I've done, so this is fun, this is interesting, this is new. Now, I was requested to do the what would my collection be if I wasn't a YouTuber challenge, tag, whatever it is, I'm here for it. Since the very beginning, even prior to me even starting my YouTube channel, my makeup collection was actually pretty large for a 12-year-old, and I feel like with this challenge and tag, I try to pick one item from each category of my makeup routine, but there are some items where I just have to have multiple items, and that's just how it is, and I feel like that's normal. So let's go ahead and start with primers. We can all foreshadow what primer I'm going to be talking about because it's the one primer that I swear by through and through. I have already gone through an entire bottle and I am almost done with this one, and I already have a backup. Like, it is that good. And it is the Touch in Sol No Poreblem primer. And I think that with all of the foundation formulas I have tried with this, it has made each foundation look absolutely flawless throughout the entire day. It also blurs my skin where my pores are not visible by the end of the day. My smile lines are significantly minimized, and the texture of this is not like your typical silicone primer. This has this airy, whipped, lightweight texture that does not ball up on the skin no matter what moisturizer you are using. It is absolutely insane. It's amazing. It's relatively affordable, and I think that through the years of me using this is literally like the one primer that I would definitely say, like, if I wasn't a YouTuber and I was just a regular consumer, this is the one that I would be repurchasing and keeping in my kit forever. Now, I mentioned that I have tried so many foundation formulas, drugstore, high-end, mid-range, and I genuinely feel like there were so many picks that I wanted to share with you guys, but I felt like if I spoke about them all, it would just be me reiterating a video I already filmed, which is my top foundation picks video, so if you want to see that, I'll have it up above. But I thought to myself, Jasmine, realistically, if there was a foundation that you could repurchase and not get tired of, what would it be? And I chose specifically the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. It is the foundation that I am wearing today. I also paired it with the Touch in Sol, and all of the products that I'm going to be mentioning today is what I'm using on my skin. So if you love this, then I will talk about all of the products. But I thought that this would be the best product because I am the type of person who loves anything multitasking. So this is not only a foundation, you get the pump, but if you take out the cap here, you also get a doe foot and you can apply it as concealer. And I thought, as somebody who likes more for your money, that this would be like the perfect foundation. There's 100 shades in this line, which makes it incredibly inclusive. The formula itself is like this demi matte. It's not so drying, but it's not so dewy. And no matter what primer you pair underneath, it can alter the look of the foundation, but the coverage itself does not alter at all. So you can get light coverage depending on how much you use, all the way up to full coverage without it looking cakey, which is absolutely amazing. And there are so many claims and benefits to this foundation. It says here that there's blue light defense, anti-pollution, it's a blue zone, it's cruelty-free, gluten-free, and vegan-friendly. So definitely checks out a lot of boxes for me, and I already have a backup of this. So it's definitely one foundation that I highly recommend. Depending on the day, it really determines what concealer formula I would like on my skin. So that's the reason why I'm going to be mentioning two concealers for this category. I feel like through time, these two have definitely stood the test of time. And I feel like with all of my repurchases and all of the other concealers that I've tried on the market, these two I always run back to. And the first one that I want to mention is Tarte Shape Tape. I have gone through 3 bottles of this, and it has been one of my holy grail concealers, and this is one of those items where I feel like it just works so incredibly well on my skin type. I am a normal skin type, but I love it when I could sometimes skip steps as well. So this concealer self-sets, so sometimes if I'm running late, I'll apply this and it'll offer me full coverage. If I'm really tired, then this will cover the dark circles under my eyes. If I have any acne spots, it'll cover it like a dream. But also, if I forget powder and I'm running late, no problem, it'll set by itself. I use the shade Light Medium, and this is just one of my absolute favorite holy grail items. And I feel like you either love Shape Tape or you either don't like Shape Tape. I am the person who cannot live without it. There are some days where I just want to feel like I'm not wearing anything on my skin, but I want all of that coverage. And I feel like Catrice is that brand. Catrice's foundation is so lightweight. Their HD foundation, super lightweight. And then when you use that in conjunction with their liquid camouflage concealer, it's like you have this perfect, flawless, filtered face, but with literally no weight to the skin, which is absolutely amazing. This one is in the shade Light Beige, and I love how intense the coverage is for it being so lightweight. I think that for some days I do want something that I don't have to mess around with a whole bunch. I don't think that this completely self-sets like the Tarte Shape Tape, but it does set enough where I can skip the powder. I love this stuff so much. It's really affordable, and I think out of all of the concealers in the drugstore, this is my top pick. I also had a really hard time in the brow department because I love all different types of brow products. I am not really picky with my brow products. I just don't want it to be super dry or super waxy. So I feel like a lot of brow products usually work out really well for me, but I think these two just lasted the most in my collection. I travel with it, and I feel like because of that, I have to mention it. The first one is my Anastasia Dipbrow pomade, and I have the shade Dark Brown. I am usually a dark brown with my eyebrow products, and I feel like with this I get the most control in my brows, and I love it because it also kind of sets my brows in place because of the pomade texture. If we are talking about brow powder, it has to be, like, there is no question, it has to be the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Kit. I have the shade Ash Brown. I have gone through major pan in both of the shades here. The tweezers work really well. The little brush that comes in here works really well. There's a freaking mirror. There's little wax in here. Like, everything that you want in a really affordable brow kit is literally here. The colors look absolutely amazing in my eyebrows, and I truly feel like there's no other brow powder on the market that compares or competes. Let's mosey on into powders. Now, I wanted to talk about something that was more on the translucent side, and then I also wanted to talk about something that was more on the powder foundation side, just so it's kind of different but still in the same realm. The first one that I want to mention is the ShopMissA Perfect Pressed Powder in the shade Banana. I've already gone through an entire pan of this, and this is already my second one. So I feel like out of all of the powders that I own, whether that's translucent, whether that's pressed, whether that's loose, I think that I always gravitate towards this one because it's compact, and I feel like because it's not loose, I could travel with it easily, and I could also do my makeup in the car when needed. So this is definitely one of those items where I feel like it's just so useful to my lifestyle. I am not the type of person to really be influenced to buy a lot of powders, so I feel like even without me having a YouTube channel, this powder would still just be in my collection because it just works. The same thing applies to my Shiseido powder. This one is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Powder Foundation in the shade 220 Linen. You do have to go in a lighter shade with this because it is a little dark. So typically I am the shade 340 Oak in their regular foundation, but I think that with a lot of other powder foundations that I have tried, they have made me look really cakey, and this one makes my skin look absolutely flawless without making me look super powdery. And I think that for some days it just requires powder foundation, or some days I just want more coverage, so I apply this right on top, and that's exactly what I did here, but in this area, and I feel like my skin just looks absolutely filtered and airbrushed. With being on the YouTube platform, I think that we see a lot from Colourpop. I think Colourpop definitely has an impact in the beauty community right now, and Truthfully, I didn't want to talk a lot about Colourpop makeup in this video, but I just couldn't help it when it came to palettes. I think that truthfully, there are just items that just really hit the mark for me. And I wanted to mention this palette, even though it's discontinued, but I truly feel like this is something that has to be in my collection or I'll pass away. And I mentioned that in my Colourpop collection video, and it's the You Had Me at Hello. This is like the perfect nude but purple palette. Like, it's so boring, but it works. It's just so solid through and through. The highlights work on my skin. The nudes here, they work perfectly as transitions. The purples pack such a punch in the eyes. But because this is discontinued, I thought to myself, okay, is there another palette that I feel like I would truly use if I was not a YouTuber? And I feel like this palette has so much hype. I think a lot of people who watch Kathleen Lights are easily influenced by this palette, and myself included. And I view myself as a consumer, so I always want to get more for my money, and I definitely think that the So Jaded by Colourpop and Kathleen Lights is the perfect palette. If you don't have the You Had Me at Hello, you can kind of get a similar look in this palette. Not quite the same, but similar. And I love this because I get a variety of neutral tones, warm tones, cool tones, dark tones, light tones, different textures. So I feel like this is just well worth the $40. It's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And of course I did use the blues that are in this palette to create this look. And the Colourpop formulas are one of my personal favorites because it's relatively inexpensive if you really break down the prices per shade, but also because the pigmentation is so workable, so easy to blend. It's so pigmented and vibrant on the eyes, and I feel like you could definitely see that here. You could definitely see which colors I used on my eyes today. I feel like if I wasn't a YouTuber and I had to pick one large palette that really did it for me, it would be this one. When I tell you I had to include this next palette, it's because it was a must. Like, I truly don't think I could live without it, and I truly feel like even if I wasn't a YouTuber, I think I'd still have this in my collection because it's my travel palette. And when something is your traveling buddy, that means it's great. That means it's reliable, it's trustworthy, and it stands the test of time. And that is the Prism Makeup Supreme Seductress palette. I do have a review on my channel, but I don't really see anyone else talking about these palettes at all. Now, this is my perfect palette because it has the light banana shade, it has the dark black, it has dark browns, and with this palette in particular I could create my stunning warm smoky eye, and then with this side I could do my eyebrows, I could do a smoked out liner. This is a perfect transition color for me, and the shades in here just work all so beautifully. Also, if I miss a blush shade, this one here works perfectly. So it's kind of like my all-in-one, and I feel like that's kind of what I look for in a palette, and that's the reason why I do like the So Jaded so much, is because you get so much variety in not a, I mean, I don't know, it's not a big palette, but it's definitely not a small palette either. I think these are great medium-sized palettes, so that's the reason why I feel like I would just personally keep this in my collection, because when I had my old vanity, I didn't have a lot of space. I had these really tiny drawers, so I always wanted makeup that just fit in those drawers, and these ones definitely would have fit in my old vanity. So that's the reason why I think about, you know, the size, I think about the formula, I think about just what I would actually use if I was back 5 years ago and I wasn't on YouTube. To finish off the eyes, let's go into mascara and lashes. Now, these two items are relatively affordable, and I feel like for the most part, I enjoy spending less money on mascaras and lashes. I think that you throw them out pretty quick. You're supposed to throw your mascaras out every 3 months. 3 months. And then for your lashes, since I wear the same styles pretty frequently, I feel like I throw them out after like maybe a couple of months, so relatively around the same times. So I feel like if I'm constantly cycling through my products, I want it to be affordable. So of course for my mascara pick, it's going to be my Essence Lash Princess, the False Lash Effect one. It's the green one, and that one is my favorite because it lengthens, volumizes, it doesn't smudge on me. I feel like mascaras are very, very personal. So depending on your lash length, depending on, you know, if your eyes are oily or not, it can look a little different on you. But with me, that mascara is 100% amazing. Now for lashes, I have thought about so many brands. I love Cocoa lashes. They have a very near and dear place in my heart. I thought about a lot of smaller companies, but then ultimately I thought, well, what is a brand where I just love the majority of the styles? And I just thought, okay, it's going to be ShopMissA. I have tried all of their styles out on my channel, so I had the privilege to, you know, try everything out, but then at the end of the day, I bought it all. So if I wasn't a YouTuber, then, you know, I feel like it's affordable enough, oh my god, it's affordable enough for me to buy the entire collection. And also the lash bands are really nice and flexible and thin, and the lash styles that they have to offer range from really natural all the way to super thick and long. So you do get quite a variety, and because I love so many of the styles, I think it was a no-brainer for me to include it as my lash pick. Bronzer, blush, and highlight. Let me tell you, this was probably one of the hardest to just pinpoint one, and I say that because there are so many shades that I like. There are so many brands that I like. There's different formulas and different textures within the blush, bronzer, and highlight category. So I was just like, oh my god, what do I do here? Now, the bronzer that I truly felt like I needed in my life at all times is something that I don't have. I actually finished it all. I do need to get a new one, but it is the Catrice Sun Lover bronzer. That bronzer to me is so beautiful because it builds up nicely. And if I thought about myself in the past, I loved it when I could just build up something, because at school, sometimes I wouldn't want something super heavy, but then say I was going out with my friends later, I would just pack on a little bit more and it would build up beautifully. So I like the versatility of it, and it also has like this beautiful, very, very soft sheen, so it adds like this extra element of like youthful glow to your skin, but it also won't emphasize texture. So if you have acne on your cheeks, it won't emphasize it, which is so beautiful. I love it so much. So that's one that I have to say would be like my top pick because of that versatility factor. Now for blush, I was just thinking like, man, there are so many blushes in my collection that I absolutely love. But at the end of the day, I think that I would have to pick these palettes. And I think it's because there's a lot of shades and it's more for your money, and it also gives me just variety, because with this I feel like you could use it as blush and eyeshadow. And this is the Catrice and Iman blush palette. I love these tones. This orange shade is my personal favorite in the whole palette, but when I use these on my eyes, they build up beautifully. So they start off pretty sheer. You can get a sheer, but if you go too heavy-handed, of course it's going to look like too much. But that's the reason why I like it. I love the mirror in here. The size is absolutely perfect if I want to travel with this, and I think you could just get a beautiful monochromatic look with this palette. Alongside that, I thought I would also toss in another palette that was blushy, but also had bronzer tones and highlights in here, because I also think that when I'm running late and I'm going to school, if I'm going to work, then, you know, I only have to take out one item and it's all here for me. So this one is by Makeup Revolution. This is their older packaging. They do have a newer packaging, but it's the Golden Sugar 2 Rose Gold palette. This is labeled as a blush palette, but truthfully, there's just so much in here that works so well. So these two would usually be my bronzer shades. These four would be my blush shades, and then these two would be like my highlighter shades. This one, a little dark on me, but I would use it as an eyeshadow. It's pressed in a way where it almost feels baked. So similar to the Catrice formula, you could build it up really easily. So if you just do a light layer, it's just gonna offer you like this beautiful, like soft sun-kissed look with just a little bit of sheen. And then once you build it up, it will definitely get more intense and it'll just look so like super model-y. Like it's just so good. It's really affordable and I love it so much that I broke it. Yeah. Although the highlighter shade in this palette is really beautiful, I do want to highlight another highlight that makes me personally just feel so beautiful every time I wear it. And I think that when you have a product that makes you feel so good, it's definitely worth it to keep in your collection. Now, I thought about this long and hard because there are so many other packagings that I feel like would have been more realistic in my collection, but truthfully, I think the formula in this just outshines, no pun intended, the actual packaging, and that is by Benefit, and it is the Cookie Highlighter. It's the highlighter on my cheeks. I did a very light layer and it is still super blinding and super pigmented. It's not very glittery, but it just adds like the perfect punch of color to your cheeks. It's just like so bright and so creamy on the skin, even though to the touch it is dry. I love the formula of this, and I think that although it's not slim, the formula is absolutely amazing and I have to recommend it to everyone. Similarly to my foundation, I have tried so many eyeliners in my day. Eyeliner is one of my absolute favorites, and I do have a whole video dedicated to all of my favorite eyeliners, so if you want to check that out, highly recommend it. There are so many that I mentioned in that video that I just ran through, so I don't have it in my collection right now, but I highly recommend all of the ones that I mentioned. I want to highlight just a handful of eyeliners, and I may sound crazy, but if you are somebody who loves a brush tip, you will love the ShopMissA eyeliners. I love the Wonderliner, which is this one here, and then I also love their Artista Eyeliners, which is in a pen. I'm wearing the blue one today as my eyeliner. These are pigmented. They last such a long time. They're cry-proof. They don't claim to be waterproof, but they last such a long time on the eyes. Absolutely insane. Only $1. And I feel like for the price point, that's honestly really amazing for my kit. And I feel like with that price point, I could just stock up as much as I want, which is amazing. Now the next two eyeliners, I feel like I only hear a handful of people talking about it on YouTube. I like to stick with what I like, and those four colored Kohl Liners is going to have to be the Marc Jacobs eyeliners. These are really expensive, but I do think that they're worth the investments because they don't dry out. Also, the LA Girl Glide Gel liners as well as their Shockwave eyeliners. Any LA Girl liner in this type of pencil formula is amazing. It's absolutely insane. It's so affordable. So if you're eyeing the Marc Jacobs one, but then you're just like, don't have the money, then definitely use the LA Girl. And I think that for my personal collection, I am the type of person who loves bright, bold colors like this. And I always need some type of eyeliner that matches the look. So it's really convenient that these ones are on the market and that just apply easy. You don't have to set it in your lash line. It's just going to stay there all day. We have a lot of lip products and I am not sorry about it. I really am not. I don't know what to say, but I think that for all of us, I think our lip collection is like probably like the biggest collection, right? I think we're just so easily gravitated towards new formulas, new brands, and I think that is just something that we all really get excited about. So I want to talk about two lip liners first. These ones are my favorite nude lip liners. They're creamy, and I have tried so many lip liners that are just dry. They literally break off, but these ones I have gone through so many, and they are a formula that lasts a really long time on the lips, but also are just such a beautiful brown shade that it complements every single lip look, whether it's a nude or it's a colored lip. The first one is what I'm wearing today, which is the Colourpop Curvy Lip Liner. Love this stuff so much. And then the next one is by Real Her. It's I Am Confident. Oh, beautiful shades. This is another discontinued item, but I really could not pass it up. It's the color that I'm wearing now. It's MAC Naturally Transformed. This is my baby. Are you kidding me? Like, come on. I'm gonna have to back to MAC this one soon, but such an amazing shade. Love the formula. I think this is a matte formula, yeah, but it's not super drying on the lips. I have a Huda Beauty one that's very similar to the MAC one. So if you like the shade on my lips, but you just, I don't know, can't find a brand, this is the closest alternative. And it's the Huda Beauty Staycation lipstick. Very similar in tone, very expensive though. So if you're willing to spend the extra bucks, it's that one. The Fenty Beauty Slip Shines are so hydrating, but they give you like this lip gloss look without the lip gloss texture. And that's the whole selling point for me. Like, I love that so much. So if I am going anywhere, this is in my purse at all times. The clear one's always in my purse. And it's just like the perfect amount of sheerness, but you can also build it up if you'd like. It's pretty amazing. I think it's like a top tier item as far as like moisturizing lipstick. Laura Lee Los Angeles makes the best liquid lip formula ever, and I have tried other liquid lips, and although there are some that are really amazing and that I have mentioned on my channel, I feel like these ones are just like to another level. Like, they're so amazing. So I have the shade Nakey Nakey. This is one of my personal favorite nudes. It's like this creamy beige, but also really warm as well. And I think it looks really amazing on my yellow complexion here. And what I find so amazing about this liquid lipstick is that it feels moussey, but once it dries velvety, and it doesn't dry out the lips. Like, it contains the moisture. Like, I think once it sets, it like locks it in, and it's just kind of crazy. It lasts all day. This is like my longest wearing liquid lipstick ever. So if you're looking for something relatively affordable, if you're looking for a beautiful nude selection, check out Laura Lee Los Angeles. And what would I be if I didn't mention some type of colored lip? I know a lot of you guys are just like, Jasmine, wear a damn bold lip already. And I think that the one bold lip color that I feel like is so amazing to me personally is by Touch in Sol. This is their Pretty Filter Velvet Lipstick in the shade Portland Brick. This is a beautiful orangey red. And although you can get orangey reds anywhere, I think this formula is great because it doesn't feel really creamy on the lips. So I feel like when I wear bold lips, I feel like my lips are just so humongous and like just like I don't know, it's just really weird. I don't like wearing bold lips because it makes me feel insecure, but I think that with this formula, it feels like nothing on the lips, which is why I feel more comfortable wearing it. Of course, you know, you could probably find something in the drugstore from like Essence or like, I don't know, Maybelline or something, but there's just something about this formula and something about it that makes me feel really pretty and not insecure. So that's fun. That's great. And just like that, everyone, we are completed with the what my makeup collection would be if I wasn't a YouTuber tag. I hope you guys all really enjoy this one, and I'd love to know what are your staples in your makeup collection, because I'm kind of nosy. Like, you guys saw what I had, so I want to know what you guys have. Now we're gonna kind of switch gears because I thought it would be really important for me to sit down and talk about a subject that has been, it hasn't been heavy on my noggin, but like, it's been like a passing, floating thought. And I thought it would be really important for me to kind of just be blunt and honest of how I feel. And I don't want it to come off the wrong way, but I also just want to like get it off my chest, you know what I mean? So, as you guys know, YouTube is not my job. It's not my full-time job. In fact, I'm a makeup artist and that's my job. So yeah, I bring like my makeup love here and it's a hobby. Like, I think that like I love the filming process. I love the editing process. I love just talking about makeup. Like, I think that's like the best thing ever. But at the end of the day, like, I don't make a steady income on YouTube to even consider it a job. I consider it a hobby, and I'm very thankful that you guys love my channel. And I think that it's honestly such a huge blessing because it's like, I never expected this channel to get so big and to get where it's at. And that leads me into a topic that I think no one talks about, which is why I'm a little nervous and the reason why my palms are getting sweaty right now, because being somebody who is now considered a public figure on the internet, I think that we are held to a higher degree in which we are being compared or almost resembling these other influencers and YouTubers who have millions of dollars. Like, I don't own a Birkin, I don't own a Lamborghini, I am the Asian lady who drives a Civic, and I just feel like when I host giveaways, I feel like there are a lot of people who are upset in me when I can't have a lot of winners, and it's mostly because I can't financially accommodate for it. And I try to do my part in hosting giveaways, and I know I'm not obligated to, like, that's not my job. My job isn't even YouTube, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to remind you guys that, you know, just be thankful that there are giveaways being held, and I feel like we're in a position right now where we are very spoiled from brand giveaways, car giveaways that some YouTubers have, MacBook giveaways that some YouTubers have, but I think with smaller YouTubers, give us a little bit of slack. I think that's kind of like what I'm saying, because there are just so many people who think that we just have a lot of money and that YouTube pays us a lot, when that's really not the case. So just keep that in mind, and I hope that, you know, that didn't come off the wrong way. I just wanted to be honest and kind of give you guys like what I have been experiencing a little bit. I know I'm not like super deep diving into it. My best friends know exactly what I'm talking about. But you know, for the sake of me being a public figure, I want to kind of just disclose it very briefly for you guys, and you know, just to remind you guys to just be positive, and I love you all so much. I don't really know how to end that. Like, that was just really weird. But yeah, I hope you guys all really enjoyed this video, and I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Peace out, Girl Scouts.